Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got the Baltimore Ravens are the most complete team in the NFL.
The Baltimore Ravens have been one of the NFL's best team the past couple years, but they've always fallen just a little bit short. So in today's video, I want to talk about the Baltimore Ravens and why it is finally their year to win a Super Bowl.
Honestly, bro, I'm tired of hearing that. I'm gonna keep it a buck. We dead ass sound like the Dallas Cowboys every fucking year. How about we just shut up and just get the job done for once? Like, real shit, bro.
If you're new and enjoy
We're
the video,
too talented of a team to not.
So the way the video is going to be working is I will be discussing what happened last year, then I'll talk about the offseason, and then to end the video off, I'll talk about both their depth chart and what I expect in 2026. In terms of what happened last year, we all kind of know what happened. This was one of the best offenses in the league, third in points per game, first in yards per game, second in touchdowns per game, awesome in the red zone, awesome on second down, solid on fourth down. Probably the best, if not one of the best running teams in the NFL, as well as one of the most efficient passing attacks out there. And defensively speaking, it was a little bit of a slower start early on, but by the end of the season, this was one of the best defenses out there. They were unbelievable against the run, ranking first in multiple different categories. But in terms as a passing defense, they were not the greatest. Again, there's really not much to talk about when it comes to what the Ravens were last year. We all kind of know it was an incredible rushing attack on the offensive end with both Lamar and Derrick Henry.
Every year, bro, #1 rushing offense in the league. When we get to the playoffs, we stop running the ball, bro. I don't get it.
You also had Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, and Isaiah Likely also had great years too.
Like,
the offensive line, even though it looked a little bit different, was still really solid. And Lamar Jackson arguably should have won MVP. On the defensive side of things, though, there is some things we should at least talk about. Again, we'll talk about the depth chart here in a little bit, but at the beginning of the season, it was not necessarily the prettiest thing on the defensive end. One trend that you can find with this Ravens team is that against really good quarterbacks with really good passing attacks, the defense can kind of struggle. You look at Cincinnati with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
We all know what the main reason that was. Hitler #1 and 2, Marcus Williams and Brandon Stevens. That was the main reason. After we benched Marcus, we should have benched Stevens. I don't know why the fuck he was even still starting. You know what I'm saying, the back half of the year. But once they benched Marcus Williams, Brandon Stevens should have got benched too.
You know what I'm saying? Hell, the Dallas Cowboys scored 25 on them. Granted, a lot of that was on the second half when the game was kind of over with, but you kind of get the point. They did it again with Cincinnati a few weeks later where they scored 34. Tampa Bay scored 31 points on them. Washington 23. But as you can kind of see by the scores here, as the season kind of went along, the points went down and down and down defensively. So defensively, they did their job by end of season. I did just want to kind of point out that against really good passing attacks, last year this defense, I don't want to say struggled, but definitely was not performing to the Baltimore Ravens way. The good news for the Ravens, especially last year and probably moving forward this year, is that even when they do get in these shootout style of matchups, this is an offense that can put up points in bunches. So that's kind of what happened in 2024. Obviously, they lose in the divisional round against the Buffalo Bills. Really tough matchup. It could have went either way. They lost by 2 points, so it wasn't like they got murdered or anything like that. But then let's go ahead and look at what happened in the offseason. Now, in terms of free agency, really nothing happened. You did bring in DeAndre Hopkins, Cheeto Awuzie.
People want to say D-Hop is washed, you know what I'm saying, a shell of his former self, which he is, you know what I'm saying, but I wouldn't call him washed, bro. Everybody thought Derrick Henry was washed before we signed him. And that nigga went off for damn near 2K last year. Oh yeah, hey, it's up this year, bro. He just clocked in at 20 miles per hour today. It's up, bro. I'm telling you right now,
Ronnie Stanley.
I'm telling you
the only
right
thing
now,
really of note here is that Patrick McCarry did leave. This was a very quiet Baltimore Ravens free agency, and I guess rightfully so. When you have such a stacked roster, there's really not too many holes they had to fill. And frankly, DeAndre Hopkins, I guess he could maybe start for you. I don't really know what you're going to get from him at this stage, but he didn't really look good last year for the Chiefs. Maybe he can kind of get back into who he typically is. My expectations for him, though, is to just kind of be a really good third option. But even then, if you include Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews, Hopkins might be like a 4th or 5th option on some downs. You bring in Cooper Rush. One thing this Ravens team has not really been able to find these past couple years is a solid backup quarterback. I think Cooper Rush is a really solid backup. Now, granted, he's not a great scheme fit compared to Lamar Jackson. Like Lamar, one of the most freakishly athletic quarterbacks ever. Cooper Rush is kind of the polar opposite of that. He is a pocket passing quarterback that's just going to read the defense, and he was really solid for Dallas his entire career. So he's a solid backup. I think he'll do some good things for the Baltimore Ravens, even though Lamar's typically pretty healthy. Chidobe Awuzie might start for them. He might just be more of a depth option, and outside of that, bringing back Ronnie Stanley was a big win too. The Patrick McCarry move does kind of suck. He went to the Jacksonville Jaguars, where he's going to be an awesome player for them.
I wasn't even that high on Patrick McCarry, so I could care less if he would have went or stayed.
The Ravens had to lose him, but it kind of felt like it was either McCarry or Ronnie Stanley, and of course the tackle position is just more important. I feel pretty comfortable with who they have already in the room, plus they drafted somebody who we'll talk about here in a moment that potentially could play that guard spot. So overall, really quiet free agency process. I wouldn't really give it a grade because they kind of frankly didn't do anything. Which then brings us to the NFL draft. We'll just quickly talk about each pick one by one, starting off with Malachi Starks. This is fantastic value for Malachi in the 27th overall pick of the first round. I thought Malachi was arguably a top 15 talent, by far and away the best safety of this year's draft class, even though it was a pretty solid safety class in totality. This is a really interesting pick because frankly the Ravens didn't really need desperately a safety. However,
nah. We definitely needed a safety like this. You know what I'm saying? With our Darius future in Baltimore up in there, especially after him tearing his Achilles, this was a perfect draft pick right here. And this allows Kyle Hamilton to play all around the field in the box, you know what I'm saying, the slot, you know what I'm saying, more at the line of scrimmage. He can play all around the field. That's the main reason why we drafted Malachi Stark. So him and Ardarius can play, you know what I'm saying, over the top and stuff like that. But now with Ardarius getting hurt, we're going to have to, you know what I'm saying, find another replacement for him, whether it be Bo Braid, Snusu Kane, or we go out and sign Justin Simmons or Quandre Diggs. But this was a much-needed draft pick, bro.
However, by bringing in Malachi Starks, that can kind of force Kyle Hamilton to just kind of be a weapon on the defense. He can play safety, he can play in the nickel, he can play towards the box, he can do all sorts of things. And with Malachi being there, super solid in coverage, he can get you some turnovers as well. Solid in run support. He's just such a versatile piece.
That's kind of why he had a down year last year.
Just like Kyle, you can kind of just move around these guys to create a lot of confusion. Like, I'm so confident in Malachi Starks, I truly do believe that you can stick him out at like nickel or even outside corner and he can hold his own. I'm not advocating for that, but I'm just saying, like, I think he can do that. Adding Malachi Starks to what was already a really solid defense that has a really nice front seven is awesome. I mean, this was a secondary last year that kind of had some ups and downs with Marlon Humphrey, of course, Nate Wiggins from last year, Kyle Hamilton, and Malachi Starks. I expect that unit to be a lot better next year. Then in round 2, you took Mike Green. Now, this one is interesting because this has the potential to be one of the best picks of the draft, or this has a potential to be a completely wasted pick. Now, from what I have heard, I haven't really heard anything about the legal stuff that he was into when he was at both Marshall and the college.
Like, when it comes to the Ravens drafting, they look thoroughly through all of that. When you got like pending case and shit like that, they look thoroughly. So we wouldn't have drafted him if we weren't 100% sure that he was straight.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I think he's going to be ready to play.
But
if we assume that Mike Green is able to play and everything gets cleared up, Mike Green was a top 20 talent in the first round, and he goes in the back end of round 2. I also kind of see this as a similar situation to like Jalen Carter, where Jalen Carter also had some off the field issues. He goes a little bit later in the draft than expected to the Philadelphia Eagles, where he can play next to Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham and all those great veterans that have a great culture already pre-established. The same sort of thing can happen with Mike Green, where he enters into a defense with guys like Roquan Smith, Justin Matabike, Kyle Van Noy, like all guys who are veterans. They know what they're doing. They know how to build.
I love this edge rush room right now, bro, because Kyle Van Noy, you know, he's due for like 8+ sacks every year, bro. So we ain't got to worry about him. Owe had a big breakout year, 10 sacks. We got Tavius Robinson, who's a solid player, you know what I'm saying, good in run defense. Justin Matabike, you know what I'm saying, he good for what he does for us. K'Mon Rucker, who we signed, I feel like going to be a nice addition to this defense. And then, we got Mike Green, who had 17 sacks last year. So this defense, bro, hey, the D-line might be feasting this year. Now, Ajabo, I don't know what that nigga
culture. And for somebody like Mike Green, who I'm not going to throw under the bus and say he's a complete cancer in the locker room, like I don't. But
he is 100% healthy now, so
what's actually going on. From what I've heard, he's looked really good in training camp. If this ends up working out and there's nothing that kind of causes him to miss time or, I don't know, get kicked out of the league or anything like that, this is going to be an awesome pickup because Kyle Van Noy, as great as he still is only getting older, and you really need that future pass rusher opposite of him. You were hoping that David Ajabo could be that guy. He's shown glimpses, but hasn't really been consistent. Odafe Owe still there. But man, you get Mike Green back there with Kyle Van Noy, Odafe Owe, all those dudes up the middle. Like, this is going to be a defensive line. I didn't even mention Travis Jones. All in all, this has the potential to be one of the best picks of the draft, but this also has the potential to be a little bit of a wasted draft pick if things don't work out. In round 3, they took Emory Jones.
I like
this is a very interesting pick because at one point for LSU, at I think it was right tackle, he was a potential projected first or second round pick. Like, he was very sought after by many NFL scouts, primarily for his size, raw potential, and just things like that. Went back to LSU, and it just didn't really work out to the same extent that 2023 did. He has a great frame. He has everything that you would want in either a tackle or a guard. I kind of think they're going to stick him inside to play guard, but he might also be able to play tackle. He's a solid athlete.
We got our tackles, but Roger Rosengarten balled the fuck out last year. What rookie can lock up Myles Garrett and TJ Watt in the same year?
I guess okay. His issue is just consistency, using his hands properly. He's just not good enough right now as a run blocker and as a pass protector. This is a multiple year project where you're getting this guy in. He's got a great frame. You've already seen some really solid tape here and there. He just kind of has to put it all together. I kind of thought he would have went back to college for another year to just continue his development. He did not. I do think the Ravens, though, are a great spot for him to go to. Let him sit for a year or two. He doesn't have to be put right into the starting lineup right away. Let him develop, let him grow, because he has a lot of potential to be a really good pickup. That said, in round 3, maybe a little bit early for my liking, but I can definitely understand it. Next in round 4, you took Teddy Buchanan. Now, this is an interesting pick because I kind of felt like it was maybe a little bit of a reach. Right now, I just kind of see special teams, freak athlete. Recognition needs a lot of work. Technique needs a lot of work. I don't really know what the upside of this pick is, but I do think he could be one of those dudes that early on plays great in special teams and maybe get some opportunities later down the road. I'm not going to talk about everything on day 3, though. Carson Vincent, a developmental tackle.
He's kind of like Faalele in a way, like Carson Vincent.
I'm not going to talk about everything on day 3, though.
I think he could be something for us in the future, but I don't know.
Carson Vincent, a developmental tackle. Bilal Cohn, a developmental corner. We'll see if he can get some playing time. Tyler Loop, a kicker. Obviously, Justin Tucker's whole situation, so you get a new kicker here. LaJohntay Wester, an undersized receiver with some legit speed. We'll see if he can.
For the future, Zay, Bate, Wester. Oh yeah, it's over.
Get on the field. Aeneas Peebles, I keep forgetting about him too. I would not be surprised if this guy gets some legit playing time. Some really good get off the ball skills. Robert Longerbeam, corner, development piece. Garrett Dellinger, also probably developmental practice squad like guy. In totality, this draft has the potential to be really, really good. If, of course, Mike Green's stuff figures its way out, if Malachi Starks fits in nicely with this team, if Emory Jones develops, and if some of these guys on day 3, can become solid depth options, like, it's a really solid draft. I would give this a pretty solid high grade. It doesn't get like an A+, but it has the potential to be a fantastic draft class. I'm thinking B+ to an A, maybe even an A+ if you can really convince me. I wouldn't say this draft class
nowhere near the B's, bro. Let's keep it a buck. Come on.
Like an identity. This wasn't a draft class. For example, when I watched when I saw the Pittsburgh Steelers draft, that draft class clearly had an identity. They wanted to get physical. They wanted to get stronger. They wanted to fit the Pittsburgh culture. Had an identity. They wanted to get physical.
Malachi,
they wanted to get stronger. They wanted to fit the Pittsburgh culture. I didn't really think that there was a necessary identity to this draft. I just kind of think they went with best player in somewhat positions of need. They could have used a safety. They got a safety. They could use some cornerback depth. They got some cornerback depth. You want to add in a future guard, you get Emory Jones. You want to add in one of the best pass rushers of the draft class? Sure, why not? So it just kind of felt like they just went with best player available that was probably on their draft board in positions of need, which I have a hard time arguing against. But then we get to the depth chart. We'll start off with the offense. This offense is basically the exact same as last year. However, you do add DeAndre Hopkins. You do have Andrew Voorhees, who's probably sticking in at guard.
I'm hoping we get Keith Mitchell more involved this year. You know what I'm saying? No, we didn't really get him that involved last year. I think he had just 3 or 4 snaps on offense last year, if that. Justice Hill had a huge breakout year. So, I hope, we still give him his touches. But Keaton Mitchell, I feel like, bro, after 2023 when he tore his ACL, I was really hoping he was going to come back stronger, better than ever. But we didn't really play him that much. So I hope this year changes that. I hope he, gets a lot more play time. You know what I'm saying? Along with Derrick Henry, you know, when he gets some rest, bring in either one of those guys and let them rock, bro.
So Ben Cleveland, maybe Emory Jones gets in there. So different options there. In totality, this offense is going to look very similar to last year. I don't expect any sort of regression. If anything, I expect it to just get better. Admittedly speaking, I would like to see like one
I
more
think Lamar
true
throw for
receiver on this
5K this year
roster.
for the
We
first
always are
time.
just banking on Rashad Bateman to make the big step forward, but hasn't quite been able to do so. Zay Flowers is awesome. I think he's probably best suited as like a super high level wide receiver 2, more so than a wide receiver 1, but as a wide receiver 1, I feel great with him because his connection with Lamar is just fantastic. I think hypothetically a DeAndre Hopkins like player would be awesome on this team. It just happens to be that at this stage, D-Hop is not the D-Hop of 2020 or 2021. So maybe he can kind of turn back the clock for a year. That'd be pretty sick. But I think long term, they might want to find
when it comes
another.
to aging players, bro, coming to Baltimore, we do the best at just helping them produce. You know what I'm saying? Kyle Van Noy, Jadeveon Clowney, who else, bro? OBJ was solid for us. He was solid. He wasn't nothing special, but you know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to veteran players playing on the Ravens, bro, they always ball out.
You know, big 50-50 ball winner that can win on the outside to give Lamar Jackson somebody downfield. I do expect Isaiah Likely to probably take over the tight end 1 role this year. There's been a lot of conversation
Harbaugh
about
did
Mark
say he
Andrews and whether
expects,
or not he's going to be on the team.
Likely to go
I expect him to be there
year.
because he's a veteran. He's been there, done that. He has a great connection with Lamar. Last year didn't really go his way. I expect Likely to get a bit more playing time this year as he kind of has been taking over that lead role the past few years. I do expect it to be the case, especially if this team wants to move to a little bit more of a pass-heavy offense in certain matchups. That said, Mark Andrews is probably the better run blocker right now, so it kind of just works out.
Stop it. No. If you think Mark Andrews is a better run blocker than Isaiah Likely, you're not watching film. Like, dead ass, you're not watching
when you have these two awesome tight ends.
At all,
I
bro.
think the offensive
Likely
line might take a small step back.
Tight end all around. So like, look at this. Look at this. Just putting out there, putting niggas on the ass.
Small step back.
Admittedly, like, Mark is not doing that. Mark gonna just put his hands up. That nigga Likely is going to attack some shit.
I think the offensive line might take a small step back. Admittedly, you lose a Patrick McCarthy. That's gonna suck. But I still feel really good about this offensive line. It's not gonna go anywhere. So it'll be like, I don't know, a top 15 unit, which is totally fine.
See, there we go. Like, look at this. Look at this shit.
Like, I don't know.
You want to sit here and say Mark Andrews is a better blocker? Fuck no. Look at Likely, bro. Go attack some shit.
Fine. His offense will rank top 5 in multiple
niggas on their
statistics
ass,
next year.
bro.
They're going to be incredible. It'll be very similar to what you saw last
Likely
year.
is one of them ones.
Derek, Zay, all these studs in this offense. It's really going to be nice. I think the big difference this year is going to be how awesome this defense is going to be. Last year, obviously, new defensive coordinator. Took him some time. I thought as the year went on, he got better and better. This year, he just gets more weapons to work with. Adding a Mike Green to your defensive line is just going to be nasty. Your secondary gets some new faces with Malachi Starks, Chidobe Awuzie, maybe TJ Tampa can get in there, or maybe a Bilal Cohn. Who never know? You never know. Just so many different varieties, so much different options here that you can work with, and I'm really excited to see what this defense looks like. You get a defensive coordinator with a year under his belt. He now knows what it's like to play in the playoffs. He's got so much talent on this defensive side. Like, the front seven is just nasty with some physical dudes up front, some guys that can really create havoc off the edge. And I think secondary-wise, Nate Wiggins enters into year 2. He'll just get better. Marlon Humphrey had a great year last year. Your safeties are just ridiculously good in Kyle Hamilton and Malachi Starks. I think there's versatility within the secondary. I think there's different variety, different options you can throw out there in the front seven. It's just a really damn good defense that I expect to be probably top 10 to top 5 next year.
Chase, you ain't going to be going against Brandon Stevens every time now, gang. Huh. That boy Nate gonna be strapping your shit this year. Pause.
Now, when I look at their schedule, and admittedly speaking, this is the first time I've actually been looking at the schedule. We have a great matchup in week 1, winnable game against Cleveland, a couple really tough matchups between 3 to 6 with Detroit, Kansas City, Houston, and LA. If you can go like 2-2 here or 3-1, that'd be awesome. After the bye, you got Chicago, Miami, Minnesota, Cleveland, New York, some pretty winnable matchups there. Some AFC North matchups here, pretty winnable games here as well. Then you end the season off with some pretty winnable matchups. So I would say in general,
this schedule, I'm gonna keep it a buck. We could dead ass go 14-3, bro. We might split a game with the Steelers like we do every year, bro. You know what I'm saying? They probably gonna get a crazy win. Some crazy shit gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? I really hope we don't lose to Cleveland this year, because we do that every year for some reason. We should not be losing to Cleveland at all. Um, I mean, I don't know who we could lose to. I mean, any of these games could go anyway. You know what I'm saying? And I don't understand why we always got to play at Kansas City. Why can't they ever come to the bank? You know what I'm saying? Like they love the Chiefs playing at home when they play against us, huh? Like other than that playoff game, bro. And then I think 2021 when they came to our house, probably like 2020 as well. But like they love watching us play at Kansas City, huh? Houston, we ain't gonna talk about that. Lamar owned them niggas. Hey, the Rams, Lamar owned them too. I don't, I think I don't even think has Lamar. I don't think Lamar's played Chicago yet. Cause I think last time we played Chicago, Tyler Huntley was the quarterback. Miami, that's you know what I'm saying. But last time we went against Miami, we put belt to them niggas. Minnesota, last time we played them, we beat them in OT. New York, last time we played them, we put belt to ass. You know what I'm saying? New York, we about to get them niggas out the way. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Cincinnati, we sweeping them like always. Ain't nothing new. Pittsburgh, we should at least beat them one time this year. You know how division games go. New England, we getting them niggas out the way. Green Bay, that's gonna be a good ass game. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I still got us winning that, but Jordan Love might come to play. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Buffalo, that's gonna be a crazy game. We playing at Buffalo too. But hey, we fully healthy though. Zay Flowers is healthy. That was a big part why we lost last game. We didn't have Zay Flowers. Oh yeah, it's up now. I'm telling you, bro. Detroit. I mean, the last couple times we played them, we put belt to ass to them niggas, and we got a way better roster now. So I don't know, bro. It's gonna be very
General
interesting.
before the
Games
bye
this year.
week, it's a
Not
little
gonna
bit
lie.
difficult with like
I
I
expect
don't know
most of
one,
these games to
two,
be
three,
good.
5 tough matchups in the
what I'm
first
saying?
6 weeks. But after the bye week, like yes, there's some tough matchups here. Minnesota won't be a cakewalk. Miami won't be a cakewalk. Chicago, some really tough opponents, but it's a lot easier than the first couple. So in general, the schedule is not terribly difficult. I've seen a whole lot worse. Just go watch the Lions. Go look at the New York Giants. Those matchups
Yeah,
are
hey, bro,
brutal
they
all
put
year.
the Giants through a fucking gauntlet, bro. Like, damn, they really want them niggas to be a horrible team back to back years, well, back to back to back. Like, damn,
This is
bro.
not a brutal schedule. Some
They
very
got a
winnable
whole
games
bounty
here.
out on
And
them
look,
niggas.
here's the thing. This Ravens team is not very different from last year. It's going to be just as good, if not better. It all just kind of comes down to what matchup do they get come the postseason. Because at some point, they're going to have to go up against a Buffalo or a Kansas City or one of those juggernauts over there.
As long
And they
as we
have
get
to
the
beat
one
those
seed,
teams.
I'm
They haven't
straight,
been able
bro.
to do so. Last year, losing to Buffalo, losing to Kansas City a couple times. Like, it just kind of comes down to they have to perform. There's so much talent on this team that there's no excuse. And I'll kind of just throw one more thing at you before I head out. I kind of think if this team underperforms this year in terms of not making that deep playoff run, I kind of think Harbaugh might be on the hot seat, which that might be crazy, and I'm not advocating for
Hey,
him to
trust
get.
me, hey, us Ravens fans agree with you 100%, my nigga. This nigga Harbaugh, I'm surprised he even lasted this long. I'm gonna keep it a buck. He should have been gone years ago. You know what I'm saying? I understand we just re-signed the nigga, extended him. I still think he is the problem. If we have the number one rushing offense again this year and don't run the fucking ball in the playoffs, I'm going to lash out. Like dead ass, I'm going to lash the fuck out.
Because I'm usually somebody who
bro,
says don't fire a pre-established good head coach because typically it is so difficult to replace those guys. But when you have a roster like the Baltimore Ravens have that is just
I feel like
talented and has quite frankly no flaws,
Mike
like this
should have
is in
been
my
the
opinion the
head
most
coach
complete team in the NFL,
2023.
more complete than Kansas City, Detroit, or even Buffalo. Like this team has no flaws. I just think there's no excuse. I think there is zero reason why this team shouldn't make a deep playoff run, at the worst an AFC Championship game. But in my opinion, I think it's kind of Super Bowl or bust for this team. The silver lining of this is that this is not a roster that is just going to collapse next year. Like they have about a 2 to 3
to him, but like just going on because I watch every game live.
year window still here, so you got 2 to 3 more cracks at this. But I don't know. I think it's now or never. If they lose again in the playoffs, I kind of think you maybe have some tough conversations about Harbaugh and his ability to win it when it comes to the playoffs. Obviously, I don't want to doubt him. He's won a Super Bowl. He's a hero here in Baltimore, so I don't want to disrespect the guy. Just kind of throwing it out there. Also, losing Justin Tucker also sucks, but at the same time, you had to do it. There were so many off-the-field concerns with him. So you bring in a new kicker. I mean, Justin Tucker wasn't great last year, so maybe he can be better, but we'll just kind of have to keep an eye out on that. But you guys let me know in the comment section below, are the Baltimore Ravens going to win a Super Bowl? I feel like every year we ask the same question. As of today, they're my favorite to come out of the AFC. We'll have to wait and see what the future holds, though, with my opinion. But right now, they are my favorite. Let me know in the comment section below, and if you enjoy, hit the like and subscribe button. Love you guys. Peace.
Hey, we winning that bowl this year, bro. I ain't trying to hear nothing. Real shit. But hey, man, I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Y'all let me know what other NFL videos I'm going to react to. Without further ado, I'm out.
I'ma make them feel me, make them people when they show me. And if you don't know me, I'ma make sure that you know me. I hate to say it, but I really think I'm broke. But I know I'm chosen, I really know I'm chosen. I know I'm chosen. I was just lost a year ago, but now I'm focused. When good at sports, this microphone can be my trophy. Not taking drugs, I found a better way of coping.